Ho'oponopono. I hope most of you would have heard of it. It's a very profound and very interesting and a very close to all of us. It's a technique which is very special to all of us. So today we have Srijana, our dear friend from US who lives in US. She's a IT professional and a long-time meditator to teach us about this technique, Ho'oponopono. Srijana, welcome. Over to you, Srijana.
Thank you, Prithvi. Thank you, Prithvi. Good morning, everyone. Just give me 1 second. Prithvi, do you see my screen?
Yes, we can see, Srijana. Go ahead.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 12 knowledge sharing session. I am very grateful to be here to talk about a topic that's very dear to my heart. As Prithvi talked and gave an introduction, today we're going to learn a brand new technique, and we're going to go into the details of what the technique is and how does that help. And we're going to hear from somebody who experimented with it. And at the end, we will do that together. We will go through that experimentation session together. Okay. Without further ado, let's get into the details of Ho'oponopono. So earlier, as Prithvi mentioned, right, we have conscious mind and subconscious mind. And if you look at the picture here, conscious mind is only the tip of the iceberg, which makes up only for the 10% of who we are. And it is responsible for critical thinking, logical thinking, decision-making, and short-term memory, and most importantly, the willpower, right? Subconscious mind is the one that's underneath the water, that we really don't know the depth of it. We really don't know the power and enormity of it, which is responsible for 90% of our makeup. And this constitutes of a lot of physiological functions such as your breath, your heartbeat, functioning of several organs. And if you get into emotions and your feelings and your beliefs, your patterns and your creativity and your intuition, and it goes on, your habits, your addictions, and your long-term memory, right? Subconscious mind is a huge part of who we are as we see ourselves and who others see us. It controls our responses, it controls our reactions, right? Subconscious mind is this powerhouse where conscious mind, if you look at the capacity of it, right? Conscious mind, which is the tip of the iceberg, is responsible, and it can process 40 bits information per second, whereas our subconscious mind can process 20 million bits per second, right? And let's look at how our conscious mind and subconscious mind interact with each other. As we saw earlier, conscious mind is responsible for decision making and critical thinking, right? So it plays the role of a mother, and it filters out and it processes our day-to-day actions, and it passes its impressions over to the child, right? The child is the subconscious mind. And the child, as we know, is a very open form, right? It just receives everything the mother says. If the mother says you're the smartest and the strongest, the child does not go compare itself with someone else and say, oh, maybe someone else is stronger than me. It simply believes it, it takes it into it, and it acts it. It becomes what the mother has, right? That's how the conscious and subconscious minds interact with each other, right? So if you think about it, every day, the conscious mind is, without fail, passing all its impressions over to the subconscious mind. So the last 15, 20, 30, 40 years that you have been in this, role, in this costume, every day without failure, you've been passing these impressions, memories over to the subconscious mind. And these impressions are becoming who we are. And if you can indulge for a minute and think that our existence is longer than just this present life, then we are carrying the impressions of several hundreds of thousands of lives. So can you imagine the enormity of the 90% that's underneath the water and that's making us? And these impressions, what are these impressions we're talking about, right? These are the impressions that we see as our likes, our dislikes, and what makes us happy, what makes us motivated, what makes us that we belong to something, or what makes us sad, what makes us alone, what breaks us, our hearts, what causes pain to us, and what is that we stay up in the bed worrying about, the deep, dark secrets that we really don't want to talk about. So this includes all of that, right? So if subconscious mind is as powerful as we are learning, and if it has all of this data that's defining who we are, can we ever be free from what we have been in the past? How can we really unlock our potential and be what we want to be or what we can be while we are being pulled down with our own impressions, the data, the memory? How can we really be free ever, right? So this is a problem. And the technique that we're going to talk about is going to help us clean these emotions, erase these impressions, and eventually get to a point where we are really, really free from it. We make peace with it, and it does not bother us. It does not define and control our reactions and responses to the world, right? That technique is called Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian technique, and it has a lot of O's, as you can see. Ho means to make, pono means right. So Ho'oponopono means make it doubly right, or make it right for me and make it right for you, right? And this technique was brought to light, this technique was brought back into the world by somebody by name Dr. Hugh Len, as you can see in the picture. He's a doctor, he's from Hawaii. And I really want to tell a story, right? You know, if you see South Indian movies, when we talk about a hero and when he enters the scene, he has to either have a fight or a dance, or first fight and then dance. But when we want to talk about our hero today, Dr. Hewlin, we really have to talk about this story. So Dr. Hewlin gets a call from one of the hospitals in Hawaii. It's a Hawaii State Hospital, and he was asked to come and work in one of their divisions. This division was created for mentally ill criminals, right? These are the people with severe mental sickness and who have violent behavior and who have committed horrible crimes, and they've been convicted. But they're too sick to be in prisons, right? So they are put in this mental institution, and they were very, very difficult to handle. The staff was struggling with them. The only way the staff could deal with them was either putting them in shackles or sedating them, right? And the hospital staff did not want to work there. So the management was dealing with a lot of attrition, people leaving. On one such day, they reached out to Dr. Hewlin and asked him to come and work in that division of the hospital. And Dr. Hewlin said, I'll be happy to do it, but I'm not going to use the mainstream medicine. I'm going to use an alternative technique, alternative treatment. And if you're okay with it, I'll take up this job. And it's not like there were a lot of people fighting over the job. They had no other go. They said, yes, let's do this. And what Dr. Hewlin did was amazing, right? This is what caught the entire world's attention. He would walk into the hospital. He would sit in his office. He would open these charts of the patients, and he would read through what's in there. Who are these people? What happened to them? What did they do to others? And what is being done to them, right? As he was going through all these charts, there were a variety of emotions that was raised in him. He felt probably angry. He probably felt sad, some point empathy and guilty and sorry and anger. I mean, you name it, right? You know, he felt all of these emotions. And while he was feeling all these emotions, he became aware of it, and he started cleaning these emotions using Ho'oponopono. Okay. So, and he kept on doing this day in and day after, right? He kept on cleaning these emotions to a point where his emotions have settled and where he did not feel all of this, the range of emotions going through that. While he was going through this process, what was amazing and miraculous is the inmate, the patient that he's not actually seeing face to face, started responding to it. They started getting better to a point they were either transferred to a lower severe prisons or they were sent back home. To a point in 4 years they actually shut down this entire facility. I mean, that's how amazing this is. And he did this purely by working on himself and his emotions, bringing awareness and cleaning them and clearing these emotions is how he healed his environment. He healed the people with severe mental illnesses and criminal background, right? And how does this technique actually work? Before we go into the details of how this technique works, there are two fundamental understandings we need to get. First one is there is no outside. What do I mean by there is no outside, right? There is definitely outside. What is outside is a mere reflection of what we are, right? It's like a movie theater. What you see on the screen is what is being projected from the projection room, right? If you do not like what you see on the screen, or if you want to change part of what's being seen onto the screen, there is nothing you can do to the screen to fix it. There's absolutely nothing you can do. So the only real way to fix it is just completely turn away from the screen and look into the projection, right? Which is you and your conscious and subconscious. And you go in there and you change it. And that's when your reflection, your projection, your outside is changing. So basically, there's really, really no outside. So what I'm saying is, if you play Bahubali, you can't get Pushpa outside on the screen. You want to watch Pushpa, you really have to turn to the projection room and you have to change the movie. Only then you will see what you want to see, right? That's the number one rule. The second rule is that anything that is happening in your reality, you've created it. You've created it. There is no exception to this rule. So what I mean by that, right? Anything that's happening in your life that you are actively involved, anything that's happening in your personal life, professional life, school, college, friends, yes, you've created it. But also things that you do not personally think you have created it. You're driving by the street, there is an accident on the side. You absolutely have nothing to do with it, but it came into your reality. You've helped create that. US elections, you've helped create it if you followed that. Syrian conflict, we have created it if you follow that. Chandrayaan, if you know about that, you've created it. You have a part in it. I get it. I understand this is a difficult concept to digest for many of us, right? I didn't do anything. I'm not accountable for that. I'm not the one at fault for creating something bad, but there's really no exception to it. It is the data that's sitting in our subconscious. It is the memories. It is our impressions that are in there, or simply projecting it out and bringing these experiences into our reality, right? So it ties back to the rule number one, that there's really no outside, right? So once we cross the hurdle of accepting that anything that's happening in my reality is my responsibility, once we get there, imagine the control you will have on your own life, right? For example, when I was young, I wanted to come to US and study, and I could not do it. My family would not allow it. And I felt like a victim because I have to, even though it is something that I do not want, I could not recognize I have control over it. And I have helped create that. I thought it was the fault of someone else that I have to do something I don't want to do. But once you accept that it is your responsibility and you have created it, you now have the opportunity to change it, right? This ties back to yesterday's session of conscious creation and how we create it and how we bring the experiences into our life that we really want to see, right? So first rule, there's really no outside. It's all here. It's us. And the second thing, anything that you are noticing is because you have created it. Okay. With that, we can actually get into the Ho'oponopono technique. This is the technique that Dr. Hulen used to clear his emotions, to heal himself with self-love, with self-healing. He cleaned and he healed and he cleared his environment. And it is like a statement, right? It has 4 affirmations. And what we are doing with these affirmations is that we are creating an application to somebody who's higher, right? In Tibet, they call them your overself, right? And in the West, we call it universe. We can call it God, anybody who you believe is the higher self. It could be God, it's divine, it is overself, it's universe, it's Modi, it doesn't matter. Whoever you believe is your superpower that's out there, you basically make an application here, right? And the application is that we first say, I am sorry. I am sorry. What am I sorry for? I am sorry for creating this experience, because if I am noticing in you, it's only because it's in me. So I am so sorry for creating this belief system. And this is where we are taking the responsibility. And we are saying that, yes, I have a part in it, and I'm sorry for that. And the second affirmation and the statement is, please forgive me. Please forgive me for I don't know what part I or my ancestors have played in creating this belief system or this person or this experience, but please forgive me, right? And the third statement is, I love you. I love you for the healing. I love you for clearing this. I love you for removing this belief system. I love you for removing these memories. I love you for unburdening me of these emotions that I've been carrying. And the last sentence, last statement is, thank you. Thank you for this rejuvenation. Thank you for this renewed energy, right? So this is what we are saying by these 4 sentences, right? 4 affirmations, 4 mantras, 4 statements, whatever you want to call. Basically, these are the emoji version of what we say. I am sorry, I'm taking responsibility, and I'm sorry I'm creating this. Please forgive me for my part in this. And I love you for the healing, for the clearing. And thank you for this renewed energy and this rejuvenation. So it's as simple as this. This is exactly what Dr. Hulen did. By repeating these sentences, statements over and over, he actually saw his emotions started disappearing. He saw that these emotions have passed, and with which he healed. He erased that data. He erased those memories that are bringing these experiences into his conscious. And he healed, in turn, his environment, his outside. All right. So this is the technique. This is it. These 4 sentences, these 4 mantras, these 4 affirmations is what we repeat, and we watch our emotions closely, and we would see them settling down, right? It sounds so simple. It is really simple, but let's really see if it works, right? And how do we know if it works is, let's hear from someone who has learned this technique, who experimented with it, and who's here to share her experience. Jainisha?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes, Jainisha.
Yeah, hi. So, I'm Janisha Chaudhary, and I will start with how I got to know about this Ho'oponopono technique. So, actually, I am a chartered accountant, and I had a job hours a day. Okay, and for there alone, sitting, working, I'm not talking to anybody, but I will just cry. Nothing happened, but I will cry. It happened for 6 months. Then I all these questions come up like, what are you doing? Why am I doing this? What is the need of doing this work? What am I doing here? All these questions. And And after that, even I had some suicidal thoughts also, like, I don't want to live. That's it. I'm done with this. I'm just done with this. That's when I didn't even like to talk to my parents also that time. I was at that point of time. Then I got to know meditation when through books, when I was reading books. So I tried meditation. So I tried and I got to know that I'm getting these thoughts. First, it was like I'm getting thoughts, but I was not aware that I am getting thoughts. It was like, okay, I'm feeling this. Okay, I don't want to do this. But then after that, little by little, I got to know that these are my thoughts. That's what I'm thinking. That's when I understood that, okay, I need some time alone. Some time alone, some vacation, I need it badly. That's when I got introduced to Pyramid Valley and the Stillness Retreat program. And I just registered it, just seeing the Be Still, Know the Self tagline. And I just registered it for that. And I just went through it. So that's how I went through, that's how I got introduced to Pyramid Valley. And in that Stillness Retreat program, at the end of the session, at the last day, we had a session by a master, Sam, who was taking this Ho'oponopono session. So he taught us this technique. He explained it to us, and he did this. He did this technique with us. And when I started this technique, when I started doing this technique, just from the start of the technique, like, I am sorry, on that particular sentence, I had something else in my mind. Okay. But on that particular sentence, I started to cry a lot, as if I cannot control my feelings. Before that, I just couldn't held up. I just cannot show someone, show anyone my feelings. I was that kind of person. That day, I just cried, and I went outside of the session. I went to washroom and I cried a lot. And again, then I came back. I did that particular technique. I did the total meditation. After that, I got to know. I suddenly remember this one incident from my childhood that was causing me that hurt or that thing. This happened. This incident is, I'll share that with you. What happened was, I was 10, 11 years old. Okay. And in my neighborhood, there was a child of 3-4 months old. And he was his parents' first child. Okay. And I used to go and play with that child normally every day. But one day I went to play with that child, and suddenly my mom called me, like, Jenny, please come here. And I ran away fast. And I didn't see that that child is there, or no one is there, or I didn't see that. Okay. After half an hour, I got to know that that child fell down off the sofa that was there, and he fell down on his head. Okay. And he was hospitalized. I got to know that, and I was the last person to be with him when he was fine. He had this head problem. He was sensitive, but when he fell down, I was the last person to be with him. Okay, this happened. He got hospitalized, but after 2-3 days, I got to know that he is no more. And everyone around me was looking at me as if I did, and I also accepted the fact that yeah, it happened because of me. And I still remember the faces everyone was giving to me. His parents were not looking at me, and I accepted that fact, because I accepted that, yeah, it happened because of me. That's the reason I accepted, and I was okay with everyone looking at me that way. Everyone giving me that looks. I was okay with that. That happened. I was a little child. I was going okay with it. I didn't even discuss with my mom, dad about this, that how I was feeling, because I didn't knew that I'm about like I'm supposed to say this. My mom did say me that it's not because of you once, but I didn't say that no, I feel that it's because of me. So it was inside me, and I was like 10, 11 years, and it was with me. After that, it happened slowly, slowly, slowly. I became a person as if I don't want anyone to come close to me. I didn't like if anyone talks very sweetly to me, give love or compassion, or even hug me. I even didn't like my parents to hug me. So I became that person. Then, when I got to know this technique, I got to know this incident that came up into my mind. Actually, I had different incident to heal, but this came into my mind that that incident was actually the periphery. That was just the periphery on the on the surface. But the root cause was this incident. This incident caused this all to happen. That's when I understood. I accepted the fact. I understood that it's okay that it happened, and I forgive myself. I forgive. I just forgave myself, and I accepted myself that it's okay. You are giving the punishment to yourself for past 15 years. It's okay. You do not need to give yourself punishment, because some things happen the way it has to happen. So this kind of understanding I got to know because of this technique. That's the reason this technique is very, very, very special to me, and it does really work. That's what my experiences was with the technique. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for coming forward and talking about this. It's usually never easy to talk about our, things that really are deep inside. So thank you so much for coming forward and sharing this experience with us. You are brave, and we love you.
Yeah, that's right. We love you.
I want to take you back to the presentation to talk about how can we make this part of our day, right? Do you see my screen?
No, social, not yet.
Let's talk about, what Jenny shared just tells you how powerful this technique is. A lot of things we are not even aware that we carry within us. It comes to the surface. It gives us a chance to address it, deal with it, make peace with it, and forgive ourselves, and move forward for real, right? How can we make it part of our day-to-day? We can do a meditation at a set time, or anytime you get a chance, you repeat these affirmations, you repeat these mantras. And we are just saying this to universe. We are not saying it to anybody. And another way, which is my personal favorite, is when you're going through something unpleasant. For example, you're having an argument with somebody, or there's something that you're expecting, it's not happening, it's creating these negative emotions and feelings and unpleasant experiences. Bring awareness to it. And what you can do is, at that minute, when you want to engage in that, when you want to go forward with it, and when you want to defend yourself and talk about it, take a step back. In your head, it is not to that person, to your divine energy or universe, that you say that I am sorry, I love you, thank you, please forgive me, right? The way I found it is was very hard to go through all 4 sentences. I used gratitude. I kept saying thank you, thank you, thank you, right? When you are saying thank you, When you're saying something like, I love you, you really can't stay mad at something that's going on. And second thing is, you're healing it right then and there. You're not taking that burden. You're not adding it to your emotions, and you're not creating additional weightage. You're clearing it as you go. So bringing awareness in the moment when you're dealing with something that is not in your favor, that you do not like, and clearing it then and there, and not engaging with these emotions, not identifying yourself with these emotions, is the best part of this technique. And with this technique, what is happening is you go from a victim state to a creator. There, I talked about my brief experience where I thought my parents made the decision of me not going to the US for my further education, where I had to be on the receiving end of this decision, where I had no say. I'm the victim of this. From that, you actually go to the creator, because you're clearing your emotions, you're taking control over your life, you're accepting that you are responsible for what's going on in your life, and you're accepting that you have the energy and you have tools and technique to create what you really, really want, right? That's the law of attraction. That's mind to matter, right? So going from victim to creator. That's the technique that we have for you today. Really appreciate your time. Thank you, everyone. And we love you. Jenny, would you please walk us through a meditation session? Let's all get together and experiment with this.
Yeah, sure. Yes. So,
thank you.
Okay, friends, let's go deep into it. Okay. So sit comfortably. Okay. Be very comfortable in your space. Close your eyes. And recollect any of your unpleasant situation or happening that happened with you, that hurted you. Could be that you hurted someone. Recollect that incident. Feel free. Feel free to feel that incident one more time. Feel it and bring it up. Now let's connect to the universe from our heart. We'll first start with I am sorry that I created. By saying I am sorry, we are taking the you're free to say that to yourself. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. You're taking 100% responsibility of what has happened. Please forgive me. Say it loud inside yourself, from your heart. Please forgive me. I love you. I love you that this happened, that I got to know, I got to experience this feeling. I got to understand the situation much better. I love you. Say it from your heart that I love you. Now we'll go on expressing gratitude to them. Thank you. Thanks a very, very much. I feel gratitude towards you. Let's say from our heart to the universe, to the unexplainable space, these 4 sentences again from the heart. Wholeheartedly will say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. It's all right. Feel every emotion you're feeling right now. Let it flow. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Now let us have ourselves in front of us. We will say the sentences to ourselves. Wholeheartedly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Forgive me. Thank you. Thank you. We'll say that to ourselves from our heart, that I am sorry. By saying I am sorry, we are connecting with ourselves. Please forgive me. We are taking the responsibility of whatever is happening in our lives. I love you. I love you for being such a brave person to experience this. And thank you to understand this. To understand this. will say the sentences few more times. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Say that to yourself. Feel it completely. No one is watching. If you feel like crying, cry. Let the emotion flow. That's when you get hold. Take your time, friends. Whenever you're ready. Slowly open your eyes. Take your time. You can be in that state. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Prithvi.
Wow, what a session. Thank you, both of you, Srijana and Jenny. Yeah, Srijana, when you said there's no outside, everything is a projection, it was a hit for me. You create everything by yourself. And when Jenny shared her experience, I literally had goosebumps. Thank you so much, Jenny, for sharing your experience. And it feels so proud to see how you have healed yourself and you're able to share with all of us with such great courage. Thank you so much. We saw Seemaji saying that, love you, Jenny. We all felt that oneness with you when you shared that. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Srijana, thank you so much for your time and bringing us and teaching us this technique. Thank you so much. So, friends, if you have anything, any doubts or questions related to this technique, you can ask us. Or if you have any experience that you share that you had right now in this meditation. Very happy to listen to your experience. We have Jitendra ji. Jitendra ji, you can unmute yourself and please.
Yeah, so my question is, in this technique, one works on one's own emotions inside, but suppose if, does it mean that you never communicate with the person outside? If somebody is violating your right and taking away your right, you don't communicate with that person and let that person know that what he or she is doing is wrong. Then in a nice way, you don't communicate at all, and you just keep on working on yourself inside.
Srijana, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Jitendraji. In this technique, there is no other person. This experience is created subconscious data. So the technique does not require the involvement of anyone else in the picture. So you can completely work on your emotions and you clear it, and by which you will see your environment responding to it. The same way Dr. Hewlin cleared his emotions and he saw the inmates changing their behavior and their health, and he fixed that. So this does not require, but I think in the real world, it does not hurt to have a conversation and let them know how you feel about it. But the technique really does not require anyone's involvement.
Okay, because physically, if your right is being taken away, then I think, like you said, in the real world, you need to communicate, isn't it? Otherwise, that person will take it for granted that everything is okay and he can take away or she can take away your right and they can crush you. And they will continue with their own ways.
Actually, there is no other person, Jitendraji. This is the experience that we have created in our reality. So even though that you see on your screen that there is another person that's doing that to you, when you take the full responsibility of this creation, this experience, a very unpleasant one right here, where you think that they're crushing us and they're taking you for granted and it's causing you, misery. First thing is, when you are in the situation, this is what I say, when you're interacting with that person and you're going through that experience, first of all, do not engage. The minute you engage with it, they have a hook into it, right? You have an emotional hook into it. And the hook, the more you ponder on it, the hook gets stronger, right? And you will attract more of those situations into your reality. The best way is to cut your cords, do not engage into this emotion, and purely work on yourself and experiment with it and see. We've all had these situations at work and we probably even talk to them. But if it is easy to fix with a conversation, it would have been already fixed. But it doesn't hurt for you to have the conversation. But my recommendation to really solve anything like that is just to work on us, because we've created this. There's a part of us that attracted this experience into our life.
If it's just an experience, if it's abstract, it's fine. But if physically your property is being taken away, say, it's being encroached upon and the person is not getting out, your right is being violated, then even then you keep quiet and let that person encroach on your property?
Jitendra ji, I have a question for you once. Are you a lawyer?
No.
No, acha. No, because you asked such questions. Okay, so see, I have one suggestion for you, that come out of that thing that this is happening and they are doing it, and come out of that mentality for just a second. Think that okay, this is happening. Look at the situation as if you are not inside it. Possible solutions you'll get to know, and you will answer yourself.
Jitendra ji, I know it's logically applying this technique. It's not so acceptable logically, but then the elevated emotions that we carry and the way we radiate out our energies as well, and that will take time to change things. So being in that elevated emotions of those statements is so. Thank you, Jitendra ji, for that question.
Thank you.
We have another question from Shiv Shankar ji. Is hypnosis a guided version of this technique? Sujana, can you take it up?
I don't really know the answer to that, Prithvi. If any of you can chime in, that's great.
Yeah.
I know hypnosis also taps into your subconscious.
Yes. So actually, hypnosis is like you get into a theta state, a subconscious level state without awareness, without your awareness. But there'll be no feelings or emotions involved in that. But here you go into, you repeat these affirmations with awareness, with consciousness, with all the emotions involved. So you're totally aware of doing this technique, and there is nobody else guiding it to you. So this is quite different from hypnosis, is what I feel personally.
Consciously working on it is what will actually heal the situation or fix what's going on.
So, Sujana, we have one more question from Nilesh. He's asking, after meditating, can we do this technique?
Absolutely. Anytime you can do this after meditation, before sleep, anytime you can do this technique, anytime.
Thank you. And Hina Patel is asking, are you referring to oneness for universe comes after meditation? The other person is you. Are you referring to oneness for universe? I don't. I have Siju Murugan who has raised their hand. We can unmute them. Yeah, Siju Murugan, please go ahead. Ask your question.
Yeah, I could connect myself a lot with that. I would say like it's a kind of a depression, right? Like we are like, I had the same phase, like 6 months crying and all, like, and that is the time like I started the meditation, and it took me almost to the same logic, I would say. After few years, it took me a few years, okay. And to overcome it, right? Like, because you harm yourself, that kind of a thing. Like you think that okay, everything happened because of you and stuff. So my question is like, okay, this took me again, like, okay, this is again that wonderful feeling, right? Like what you say that okay, you are sorry and all those stuff, like it's make you feel better for sure, okay. So my question is it this way of meditation, or this is just to a technique to like overcome that situation? So are we going to do this every day? So how Jenny does it? So this is
okay. I understand. See, meditation. When you do meditation every day, like long meditations, you go through this process naturally. Okay, so if you feel like, if you like I said, like I was working and I suddenly used to cry, right? So that time I can do this technique and I can know the reason behind it. So understand the logic. See, when you just know the emotions right now. After this, you'll get to know the root cause. Then you'll get into the understanding part, that why it has happened, what it was. Then you'll get into the acceptance part, and then automatically you'll be healed, and you will no more feel like you need to be healed, and you need to think on that concept. So it's a ongoing process. Whenever you feel like doing it, you can do it.
Thank you, Jenny. We have Ruby Srivastava ma'am raising their hand. You can unmute and talk, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's two questions I have. The first major question is, I'm not able to listen this session again. How do I connect you people again? Because I need to meditate again if I feel like, and sometimes I want to get connected through YouTube or your whatever the website what you have given the link. I'm not able to do this. Very fear. I think we talk a lot about, but sometimes it keeps coming. Any thought which is not relevant for future for someone. Like for example, we feel that XYZ who is very close to us, like my mother, father, son, daughter, whatever, something will happen to that person in future. That thought is so strong with writing. And when we meditate also, it comes that no, it's irrelevant thought. It will never happen. But still it has given an impact in the mind so very strong. So how do we overcome of that, or that negativity should go completely? So please give me these two answers.
Yeah, Srijana, can you take it to links to YouTube? And these sessions are there on YouTube. You can go and rewatch it.
So you two, sorry to interrupt, you two, what topic should I put it, or how do I get collected?
In the Telegram group, we'll be sharing the links of the YouTube so that you can go and watch it.
Okay. So moment when we get disconnected, the whole chat goes off. So the link and you will attach me to because I don't have Telegram. I have not made that.
We have shared the Telegram group. If you just click it on that, you can join our group.
Right now I'll do that.
Thank you, ma'am.
But I don't have a Telegram. Do I need to make that?
Yeah, you'll have to install the app and then
join. Do you mind taking that? I know you've been researching on the fear and what causes, and I think you would do more justice to that, please.
Yeah. So we have been talking about this topic from few days, about fear, about being in victim consciousness. And today also we talked about from the very beginning of our childhood till date, we have been in that survival mode. We have been conditioned to be in that victim consciousness, and we always fear of unknown. We always think that something might go wrong. So through meditation, we get that access to reprogram our subconscious mind. We start watching you are aware of those thoughts right now. So this awareness itself will bring in a change in the future. So being with this awareness is most important, and not going with that thought pattern and getting involved is what you have to be practicing. That can happen through meditation, and for that you will have to stick on to the practice of meditation. Even after this 21 days, definitely that awareness level will increase, your thought patterns will start changing, and you will see yourself transforming from being a victim to creating what you want to be.
So, ma'am, my question, I still have a doubt that when we meditate also, I know that the thought is irrelevant, which comes in meditation. I get the answers also that it's irrelevant. But is that something is going to happen in future, which I got that kind of fear or that kind of stupid, the thoughts? Is that going to happen in future?
We have Sunil here. Sorry, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt. We have Sunil also who would like to add. Sunil, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Prithvi. So let me just narrate a bit about my. I'm also a parent. I have a daughter and a son. So what this particular thought, like something is going to happen, it's something in the future. So that's an anxiety that I would classify it as an anxiety, which we are inculcating. Arey, kuch ho jayega, what would happen? So, for example, just few days back, my daughter takes her bicycle out in the evenings and drive on the gully. So I'm confident she can ride the cycle, but still there is thing, arey, will something happen? Will she really take care of the, managing herself on the road? Will someone hit her? All that kind of thoughts do come. So in the first few months, I would say, first couple of months, I always had this anxiety. Arey, something will happen. I go to terrace and watch her from top and see if everything is fine. Then I realized, am I becoming too protective, or am I not having a confidence in her? So there were some root causes which I figured out. So when I corrected that root cause, that thought is now no more in my mind. So I approach her. So what happened is, in the earlier stage, I approached her with a fear in my mind. So my act, my words, and my action was always driven by that fear in me.
Right.
So what happens is the energy is transferred in a different mindset altogether. So she receives energy. So unknowingly, she probably has got a fear-based protective vibes or answers to her. So I realized that that approach can bring her into a fear mode unknowingly because she is not knowing. She's just 11-year-old kid. So when I changed my approach, that was more positive. Though I still have, I'm not saying it is all completely gone. I still have that, but I just shifted that from that fear mode, from that anxiety mode to the more confident mode. So now when she is saying, okay, Papa, I'm taking the cycle out, I give a confident approach. So the moment she looks at me, oh, Papa is confident that I can take the cycle out, and she carries different energy. So it's not something you can do a shift very quickly. The answer to this is meditate, know yourself, and continue meditation. That will definitely help you to come back. When we say come back, why we come back to the breath? It's because you are being in the present. So
Right.
anything that is in the past and in the future, it creates a different balance. So when you come
Yes.
back to the breath, you are in the present moment. So out of this present moment, you act with the right thought that is required at this moment, not from you. The perspective is not here. The perspective is your son, kid, or
Right.
husband, others. So what is required at that moment will eventually come out. I think that approach, if you take, and that approach doesn't happen. I mean, I won't say not naturally, but meditation will help you because
Right,
meditation
Sunil.
is all about bringing yourself. So, Abhi, what is that required? What is the kind of response you want to give? It'll just eventually happen.
Okay. I'll do.
Thank
I
you.
think, yeah, it's I'm very close to, you gave me very close answer. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Sunil, for adding that. You gave a lot of clarity on that question. And yeah, so we have one more question from Prerana ma'am. And I also see Deepa ma'am raising hand from a long time. Ma'am, just one second, we'll take this last question. And we're seeing that beautiful waves in your video, and it's really soothing. Thank you so much. So last question from Prerana ma'am is, can we do Ho'oponopono before we start our daily meditation? Or is there any concerned time to do this? I think Jenny already gave idea about this. So anything to add on to this, Srijana?
No, I think anytime you can do anytime in any moment, a set time, a set practice, or while you are going through a difficult situation, you're sitting idly in a bus, and there's just no time. Just keep saying thank you, thank you, thank you, and the cleaning is happening. So any moment is a good time to do Ho'oponopono.
Thank you. Thank you, Srijana. Yes, Deepa ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say thank you to all the Srijana ma'am, Prithvi, and Jaini and Sunil for beautiful voice. Everybody's voice is so sweet. It's like music only. So thanks for that. And I want to share my experience when Jaini has teach that technique. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Deepa ma'am, please go ahead.
So what happened? I recall the memories of my son's childhood, where he was around 5-6 months or like that, and still I have regret. I didn't care him properly. Now he is 18 years, 19 years old, but still whenever I see any small child, I say I didn't take care properly, and it was unknowingly. So, but still I have regret in my mind, and I don't know how I can remove this regret. Though I am taking care so nicely right now, but is there, I need to do this technique daily? Maybe I will feel free from this regret. That is my experience also, and that is my questions also.
Can I take that, Prithvi?
Yes, Srijana, please go ahead.
Absolutely. You can definitely clear that. I can relate to it. If we have a couple of minutes, I can talk about how I used Ho'oponopono to heal something very personal to me. My mother passed away, and I had a guilt. I was not around her, and my mother and I separated ways. She cut me off for a few years because she didn't agree with the choice of person that I wanted to marry. So that created a drift. Until then, we were very, very close. And then I moved to US, and I was not physically there, and she was not willing to come. And when things were getting better, she passed away. So I carried the guilt that I was not there. I was not there when she needed. I carried the guilt that I could have done better. I should have done better. And I was, and then few situations evolved at a later point. Basically, I was shattered into pieces, knowing that she's no more and I have no chance to heal. This has happened. It's in the past. There's nothing I can do to make this better. That's when Sam taught me Ho'oponopono technique. And that's why I said this is very close to my heart, because I've healed and I have some areas where I felt that I could have done better. But, just stay with it. Just do Ho'oponopono and do the best you can do. You're already doing fantastic. Be kind to you. You're doing so many wonderful things to your children now. Recognize that, take a moment, get the joy of what you're doing and how you're enjoying taking care of your child. And anything in the past, use Ho'oponopono to clear it.
Thank you, Srijana, for that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Yeah, so we have stressed a lot today, but I feel it was really necessary, a profound practice and a session that we had. And I saw Vikal Gupta ji raising their hand. So you can unmute yourself and ask. This will be our last question for the day. So yes,
yeah,
go ahead.
Thanks, Patbi, and thanks, Srijana. It was fantastic and very good session. So only one question on this. So let us say I'm walking and getting these kind of thought. Okay, I had a fight with that guy, and this has gone so bad, and this and that. Then the thought started engaging me into the consequences of that. Okay, next time I'll go and meet. What will happen? What he will do? And then it create more negativity in that. So it is the right time. Whenever these thoughts are coming in, stop there and practice this tactics, and stop there itself. Whenever the thoughts are coming, these kind of thoughts are coming, the same time you just stop them, do the practice, maybe 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and will this help that way?
Absolutely, it will help. I was dealing with a difficult employee, and then we get into these conversations in a professional environment on a call. It engages me. It was creating a lot of negativity in me because we do not have the same approach towards things. And what I did is at that time bring awareness to it, that it is causing these emotions with you, right? And the awareness takes care of a lot of problems. And the minute you bring awareness, you're ready to do the next step. You're ready to take the next step. Instead of engaging and running with that emotion and creating more of that, you bring awareness to the emotions that are causing. You take a step back and you just do thank you. Even just doing thank you and repeating thank you, I've seen enormous amount of help.
Okay.
Yeah. You can do all 4 sentences if you can. That's great. But I could not do it because I'm emotionally engaged with that. Just, taking a step back, not identifying yourself with that emotions and recognizing what has happened within you and go through that feeling process.
Perfect.
In that moment. And if you're carrying that forward, any second that comes back to you, repeat the same thing until those things are vanished and disappear.
Thanks, Srijana. You answered it correctly. And just I will take another 5 seconds. See, earlier, these thoughts were coming, and I was getting into these thoughts hour and hour. Okay, I will go and meet him. If he'll do this, I will kill him and beat him, and this and that all. But from recent past, I at least started recognizing, thought is coming. I have to come back on my breath. Stop here. So I am doing it now. Probably I have to take one more step. Stop there. Do the technique. And try to resolve them one by one. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah. So much thanks to all the participants for sticking to us even after stretching for such a long time. It's a weekend, so I feel it's okay. But thank you so much for all of you. Thanks, Srijana. Thank you, Jenny. And tomorrow, today we have talked about how to heal our past